James here with Rogue Duelist Trade. In partnership with ProPlay Games, we have started the very first YuGiOh Investments Patreon. On this Patreon, you'll have access to near wholesale rates on Yu-Gi-Oh product, as well as some key advice and information on the newest releases. Get distribution-like connections on the newest product as low as $649 per case. Not to mention some exclusive perks, including Q&As and product ratio videos on release. No matter which tier, our goal is to help you make a successful side business out of Yu-Gi-Oh. Don't wait, spots are limited. Check out our Patreon today in the link below. I'll see you there.
What is up, guys? We are live here at ProPlay Games with the Michael State. You are back after a second place finish. Last time we saw you, I think, was in Orlando at our Invitational. Yep. Almost brought it home. That was so epic. That match was great. Great to see you back. What did you play at our 3-box tournament this past weekend, and why?
So you're going to see a bit of a mix of 2016-2020 right here.
Ooh.
Zoodiac Dogmatika.
What? I love Zoodiacs.
Yeah, so first off, shout out to my boys in Orlando, Lamar and Ronald. They gave me the essential list and they said, oh, it's a fun deck, and I'm like, all right, let's see what happens, and thought that this tournament would be a good chance to test it out, and my goodness, this deck is godly. Oh god, yes.
And it's gonna get better in Phantom Rage, right? Like, you're gonna get a lot more support for this archetype.
The Tri-Brigade deck too, yeah. Awesome. So let's just, I'll go over the whole deck later. Let's go ahead and look into the actual deck list now. So first off, one rat. This by itself is Mega Collapse. It's absolutely insane, so this card cannot come back to 2, in my honest opinion. 2 Ram. Some of the ratios you're going to see, they're going to be multiples of what you would assume to be 1-ofs because I'm playing Desires. I don't banish 3 dupes in this deck, thank God. Yeah, 2 Ram. This is needed when you're sending it off of Rat to actually attempt to make the Mega Collapse play. 3 Whiptail. This is definitely needed because of the Eldritch deck. If you get to banish a Golden Lord off of this, you already got way too much value out of the Whiptail. So definitely 3 of. And then, of course, 3 Thoroughblade. You want to draw into your extenders, your combo, your Nadir plays, so definitely needed at 3. And that's 9 Zoo. And then now for the Dogmatika package, 3 Ecclesia and 2 Fleur de Lis. I decided not to play Maximus because the extra deck space is really tight, and also you don't want to give an advantage to opponents that are actually playing cards for Maximus, like the Cyber Dragon Nova and Mechaba package, Morna Tisses. You don't want to give them any advantage. So, and that card doesn't provide you advantage in this specific version, so there's no point in playing it. But 2 Fleur de Lis, really good. Again, because of Desires, but also because 2 actually comes up in a grind game, since this deck is very slow at times. So definitely 2 and 3 are the right ratios for this. And then now for the hand traps, the best 6 hand traps in my opinion, other than Gamma, 3 Veil, 3 Imperm. As long as you're able to stop Dragoon, that's what you want the deck to do. Dragoon is a very broken card, but this deck has natural outs to it because of Fleur de Lis, and then you also have this to out it. And I also didn't want to play Gamma because I want to see hand traps that actually I'm able to use past turn 0. So this definitely was correct in my opinion. And then other hand traps, 2 Ash, just a generic hand trap, good against almost every deck. So why not? Just 8 hand traps. Now for the spells, 3 Tenki and a Barrage. For the Zoo package, you want to see a Zoodiac. You can at least end on Trident. That's already good enough in most cases. Or you can end on Mega Collapse if you see Tenki or the 1 Rat. And then of course 3 Servant to get your extra deck started, as well as your Ecclesia. This way you at least open 1 stop. And then Pots, 2 Desires, 2 Avarice. I didn't want 3 of either because seeing 1 or 2 of these is good enough. So this actually recycles your entire engine of Zoo, which I can't believe this card is at 3, by the way. Yeah. If I could fit 3 of this in here, I would, but there's not enough room with all the Zoo cards and the engine cards of the deck. But this card is amazing to draw turn 1, and then Desires is Desires. You don't have like a 1 of that you can't banish in this deck, so drawing 2 cards is absolutely free in this deck. And then 2 Talent, 2 Droplet. This card is an amazing out to Dragoon. Basically really why we're playing it. And also it just gets rid of our Tenki that's dead on the field and gets us a free negate. And you can set it turn 1 if you don't see it, and it's amazing going second. And then Talents, a lot of people are still learning how to play around this card, and it's such a good card in the main deck right now that you have to play it if you have it. Like, the card is, it punishes players really really, really hard if they don't set up around it. And then one flex spot, Reborn. This card is definitely a flex spot. I didn't actually activate it much, maybe only once or twice in the weekend, but it's still a good card to play nonetheless. Still tweaking the main deck for now, but it can come out, it could stay in, either or. And then 2 Punishment. At first, this was only because of Desires, but 2 definitely comes up with this deck again because it's such a slow, grindy deck. It can come up. And also, at times, I actually had to use Omega to recycle this, to put it back in the deck and then search it back with Ecclesia, which is absolutely crazy, but this card is one of the best cards in the deck to actually see turn 1 and actually set up. And then 40 cards in the main extra deck. Zoodiacs, 2 Chalkonine, 2 Tiger Mortar. The more important ones other than Dryden, of course he's at 1, so you can only play 1, but 2 of this definitely comes up. This way you can recycle your Dryden past turn 1 and actually get another material under it with Tiger Mortar, so it's definitely needed for that. And then 1 of each of these. Nothing else to say about that. You don't need any more and don't need any less. Very, very good cards.
Where's the broad rule?
Oh, I wish. Oh my goodness. And then another Exceed, actually. This card just came out of Rise of the Duelist. This card is very, very good for what it does. It's a 25 beater that overlays on top of any rank 4 Exceed you have. It inflicts piercing damage, and when it gets destroyed by your opponent's card by battle or effect, you can revive a level 5 or higher monster, or 5 or lower monster in your graveyard. So essentially that means Reborn Ecclesia. Or you can Reborn Thoroughblade during your opponent's turn to discard and draw a card. But usually you're getting Ecclesia to get a free search in the means of Fleur de Lis. This way you can get another negate. So this card really, really is clutch. If you just have a dead Zoodiac on the board,
B-Drill. You heard it here first.
oh yeah. And then 1 Mega Clops, of course, for the Zoodiac engine. Most decks don't have an out to this card. And also, what's amazing about this card in particular, if you activate Punishment, this card says you cannot access your extra deck for the rest of your next turn. So when a turn passes over to you, if you activate this on your opponent's turn, you can use this to Reborn your Dryden back and attach a material under it. So essentially, you're getting back that value that was used from Dryden. So it gets around that clause, which is why this card is a mad powerhouse in this deck. Definitely can't complain about that. And then the Nadir 7 targets, Omega, Titanclad, and Natis. My favorite card in the extra deck is definitely Omega because its recyclable ability is just way too good not to play. And a lot of the times, if you already have a bunch of Nadir 7 targets, you don't want to send Titanclad off rip. You send Omega and leave it in the graveyard because when they send Titanclad during your turn with Punishment, you can just recycle it back. This way it's a free +1 essentially. And of course, Natis is staple, Titanclad. It allows you to special summon from your extra deck, special summon Ecclesia from your deck to add Fleur de Lis during the end phase, even on your opponent's turn if you activate Punishment. It's just very, very good cards. And then the last pack is these 3 are flex spots, but this actually came up a lot more than I thought. Fiber, Selene, and Access. Now, if you have just like a dead zoo on your field and you have any tuner, you get to normal summon it, make Fiber, and if there are 3 spells or more in the graveyard and fields, you summon Selene, Reborn the Veiler, and then go into Access Code and make it a 5300 that can pop 2 cards and then attack for game.
Wow.
This actually came up like 4 or 5 times throughout the event, and I actually loved it. So I think I'm keeping it in for the foreseeable future. I thought it was gimmicky, I underestimated it, but it actually came up. And that's 15 in the extra. Side deck. This is going to be a little interesting. So, 2 keep your free. 2 Lancia, 2 Nibiru. This card is the highlight of the side deck, actually. This card shuts down so many decks. Dino, Invoked, Eldritch. Like, this card is a mad powerhouse, and I think I should have played 3 in the side, but definitely this could see main deck play. One of the best hand traps in my honest opinion. And then Nibiru, of course, for combo. And then the last monster for the side is Pancratops. It's a powerhouse against the trap decks, or any slow stun deck. 2 Cyclone and 3 Storm for the back row decks. Of course, this deck does have a hard time against Eldritch, even in current format right now. So you definitely want to make sure you have a lot of back row hate, especially Cyclone, since it banishes the threat, since it's essentially a +1, since if you storm it, they get the card back. So definitely like Cyclone a lot. And the last cards for going first against the Eldritch deck, 2 Decree. If you see this turn 1 against Eldritch, you're in a very good position, and usually turn 1 you end with Dryden or Mega Clops. So the next turn, if you flip this during the end phase, you're more than likely able to kill them. And if you didn't Peep, there's only 12 cards here. I had to play round 1 with 12 cards, and I stuck through it the entire tournament, and I only had 12 cards. And I still topped.
Harpy's Feather Duster, bro.
Yeah, right?
Or something. So how was your tournament experience? Did you incur any bad matchups or anything like that? I know it was new format, so we didn't have to worry too much about Adamantipator, even though one did show up in the top cut. How was your tournament? Is that what I do?
Oh, yes, I do. The tournament ran very, very smoothly. Again, Eldritch is a very hard matchup for the deck. I think I played one in Swiss, but I was able to come out of it. Eldritch is really the only hard matchup. Combo is good because of the hand traps, and if you're able to go first, you're able to break their board. But really, the deck is very, very good. Like, for what it does, even new format, past format, whatever. I underestimated the deck, and I can see myself playing it going forward. It's very, very fun, and it's very nostalgic because of the zoo aspect. I love zoo. It's definitely a very, very fun deck.
Well, it's very refreshing to see something new, and two, from one of the best players I think in the game. So that's great to see you back. Really hope to see you at future events and future deck profiles. Thank you again for the profile. Till next time, man.